So essentially the best NBA team right now on paper, the Brooklyn Nets, just suffered one of the biggest mistakes and losses of the NBA season. What is up, guys? It is Hyper Hooper Basketball. Today we are going to be covering the topic of how the Detroit Pistons actually won a crazy game versus the Brooklyn Nets and how it was one of the biggest NBA upsets this season. But now let's get right to the content. So a few weeks ago, when James Harden came to Brooklyn, everyone thought the Brooklyn Nets were going to be absolute title contenders. But ever since then, as of the making of this video, the Brooklyn Nets are 7-6 with James Harden on the roster and a 3-game losing streak. And this culminated in one of the worst losses a super team could have in NBA history. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and James Harden could not get past this Detroit Pistons team. And what's so obnoxious that the Brooklyn Nets lost is that the Brooklyn Nets, they lost by 11 points to the worst team in the NBA, who now have just 6 wins. So essentially, Jeremy Grant and the Detroit Pistons won to the best team in the league, as in the Brooklyn Nets, 122-111. Honestly, one of the biggest surprises in NBA history. And I know you guys are going to take this for granted, but Jeremy Grant and the Detroit Pistons worked for this. They didn't wish for it. They worked for this. And I know part of it is the Brooklyn Nets losing, and the Detroit Pistons got a little bit lucky as the Brooklyn Nets were in a rough patch, but Detroit clawed their way into this game with a fire to beat the best team in the league, as they are widely recognized as, because this team has Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, and I feel like we can call them a super team, even though they don't have great depth at the bench, helm, or anywhere else for that matter, but they have 3 of the best players I have ever seen. And the Detroit Pistons essentially won one of the biggest games in their entire franchise. This is probably one of the greatest games in the entire Detroit Pistons franchise. I mean, upsetting a team who is that great is incredible. Because if I do recall, as of the making of this video, the Detroit Pistons have a winning percentage of 250, which is honestly one of the worst winning percentages I've seen in my entire NBA watching career. And Jeremy Grant has been leading this team to some decent success. And I know they've only won 6 games. We are about 25 games into the season. But this man could really lead Detroit to the playoffs in 3 to 4 years, if you think about it. And I mean, winning to a team like Brooklyn, there is a kind of simple reason why. And the reason why is because Brooklyn does not have that much depth. I mean, if you look at their team, they have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. But who else do they have? An aging DeAndre Jordan, stagnant, not very great, inconsistent old Jeff Green. I mean, and Brooklyn's Spencer Dinwiddie is out for the season with an injury, And this game was so fun to watch. Coming down to the wire, we see the Brooklyn Nets put together some great plays to get back in it. But Detroit would always answer back with some of their own points, courtesy of Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, and Josh Jackson. The Detroit Pistons were able to get a win on one of the best teams this league has ever seen, scoring-wise. No, not passing-wise, but scoring-wise. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Click subscribe, turn noties on, like, share, comment, all the good stuff. And as always, we are Hyper Hooper Basketball, and we are out.